Hello, I'm Cynthia Sanchez.
Hello, I'm Richard Richardson.
This is NBC 5.5 broadcasting live from Mr. Featherly's classroom.
In the United States, the government and economy is booming and growing rapidly.
Yes, they are. Ever since the Great War, American economics and industry has prospered. American factories produce automobiles and wide range of consumer goods.
The American industry is mainly showing success in the stock market. Americans are becoming rich with the stock market, and the value of stocks is at an astonishing 400%.
That's a lot. There are some issues, though. Many consumers have reached the limit of their credit on goods, and they can no longer help the U.S. economy.
Breaking news. The United States stock market has crashed, and the day is October 29th, 1929.
This day has been known as Black Tuesday ever since the stock market caused a huge decline in the industry.
Black Tuesday was caused by a booming stock market, and many Americans increased speculation in the stock market. The stock prices were at unrealistic levels.
The economic recession was caused by struggling businesses and increasing consumer reliance on credit.
All of these causes triggered the stock market to crash.
Before Black Tuesday, the U.S. economy was growing until the American people gained too much trust in the stock market.
In the boom times, American industry prospered and people invested a lot of their money.
Oh, it's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so. It's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so.
In other news, the Great Depression is hurting the American people.
Many state banks are being shut down and citizens are going bankrupt.
This is causing the American people to lose their homes, cars, and other valuables because they cannot pay for them.
Some people who have lost their homes now live in Hoovervilles in the cities.
These Hoovervilles consist of poorly constructed homes that are sometimes not even homes at all. Their homes are made up of whatever material people could find, such as driftwood, cardboard, or even newspaper.
In the cities, if an occupation was open, nearly 1,000 people would apply for the same job, making it difficult for citizens to get an occupation.
This caused a huge increase in unemployment, and people could not afford food and other materials, which caused industries to plummet even more.
1 out of every 4 people were unemployed, so that means 25% of the American people were out of work.
Now we take our newscast to Donald Delgo, who is interviewing a middle-aged woman who is struggling with the Depression times.
I'm Donald Delgo, live here in Topeka, Kansas, on Farmer Donna's once thriving farm. The Great Depression has hit hard here in Kansas, and the recent stock market crash is just as bad as the dust storms that are ruining her crops. Now let's go take a look at her. So Donna, how has the Great Depression affected your farm?
Well, you see here, Sonny, this farm here used to be the most productive farm for miles. Now look what I got. Dead crops and dead. And I would like to send each and every one of them off to the big city to find work. But I didn't hear anything from them since last August, so my guess is that they run off to the east. But,
How old are they?
oh well, the oldest, Sweet Betty, is 18, and the youngest, Little Johnny, he's only 8.
So why do you think your children ran off to the coast?
Well, along the coast, you got all them cities, so there's plenty of job opportunities.
How have the series of dust storms affected your crops?
Well, they dried up my fields, and nothing ain't growing here but weeds and disease.
Are these the animals?
Well, yes, but with the market crash, I ain't got no money to feed them, and what I did have, they just ate off the rest of my field, and then one night, they just died.
Thank you for your time, Donna. I wish you the best. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Donald. Now for more news.
In other news, President Hoover is out of office and has been replaced by Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Hoover was a poor leader during the Depression, and he barely had any government support. He believed the government should not interfere in business affairs, but this made the U.S. economy even worse.
He also proposed the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act to tax the imports coming out of the country and aid the American economy, but it hurt many Americans.
Now we go to Donald Delgo on the scene to interview a woman who dislikes Hoover's Tariff Act.
Thank you, Richard. I'm here with Gertrude, an international marketer who lost all her money in the stock crash. How has the Great Depression affected you?
Well, ever since the Tariff Act, nobody's been able to buy goods because nobody has money.
What was your field of trade?
Well, I sold textiles internationally, mostly to the U.S.
Such a shame they lost so much money. How are you feeding your family?
Well, I had to take all the money that I was saving and put kids college fund, so I'm just anything I can find.
It's not fair, is it?
It's really not. Ever since Hoover passed that Tariff Act, everything's gone downhill. For all I know, I could be a billionaire.
I think we all could. Thank you, Gertrude. Now back to you, Richard.
Thank you again, Donald.
President Roosevelt has introduced the New Deal to the American government and has encourages government spending.
Roosevelt and Keynes' idea worked and is helping out the U.S. economy mildly. The Great Depression lingers on.
Where are you going?
In other news, the Great Depression in the United States is causing a worldwide drought and recession. Britain, Germany, and Japan are being heavily affected and their economies are weakening.
There is a great rise in unemployment in Britain, high inflation in Germany, and a severe economic depression in Japan, all because the United States has economic issues.
The worldwide depression is causing a political impact. Extremist groups in Germany, Japan, and Italy are rising up to power.
Britain and France have also created new governments to help their weakened economy.
These world events could lead to something big in the future. This has been NBC 5.5 with your daily news.
I'm Cynthia Sanchez.
And I'm Richard Richardson.
And I'm Farmer Donald.
Good night.